this log ain't been laying on the ground. He said it's standing up. That one? You want me to do that one? Well, I hope you're doing all right today. Ain't old Wormy trying to get something done before Bible school tonight. My church has got vacation Bible school this week, and I've been helping them out with it a little bit. I ain't much help, but I like to go there and eat. They feed you good if you go to church. They got a lot of cookies there. It's something after 4 o'clock right now. That starts at 6 o'clock, so I gotta get there just a little bit. Try not to be late. saw turned out to be really beautiful, I tell you that. Turned out to be real nice. Wormy getting behind out there. Yeah, the old boy there at church helping us with one that's helping with the activities, you know. He's about, I guess, 28, 29-year-old, I reckon. Him and his wife just had a little baby. He said that he couldn't play kickball there at the church with the youngins there because I forgot what I was doing there. And he had hurt his big toe there. The other night he was walking through his house and he had hit his toe on a piece of furniture. He said it about it did split his toenail in half there. Just tore his little toe up. Of all times, you know, right when it's vacation Bible school and time to play with all them little youngins. He's the activity director, you know, so just bad timing for that. That kind of reminded me of a story back when I was a youngin'. I guess I was about 13-year-old, I guess. My uncle, when I was growing up, he was in the National Guard. He became a lieutenant colonel in the North Carolina National Guard there. One year, when me and my little cousin there, we were 12 and 13 years old, I guess. We might have been 14, I ain't sure. My uncle, he got permission from the guard to take me and my cousin out on the go and tag along with his unit out there at Fort Bragg. So we went with him down there at Fort Bragg, and let me get another log on here right quick. So yeah, so me and my cousin, we went down there with my uncle. And that log ain't worth nothing. Might get one or two out of there. So anyway, we had me and my cousin there, we had camouflage uniforms, you know, just like fatigue, you know. We had the combat boots and the hat and everything, you know. We were real little soldiers there. And so he took us with him, we followed him, and we got to shoot the M16 rifle, and there was live rounds in them, and they let us shoot the M60 machine guns, and they even let us they had this rocket launcher called the Law missile. Yeah, they even had this thing called the Law. It was like an anti-tank weapon or something or another, I don't know. They let us shoot that thing. And we got to shoot at they had an old tank or a bulldozer, and they had a bus, or they had all kind of little targets down there. And they let it, and what they had in there, they didn't let us shoot a live rocket, but it was a test round, you know. What it was, it shot a smoke grenade down there. And if we hit our target, you know, or wherever it shot, it blew up in like a blue smoke or something. Then they let us ride in a armored personnel carrier, a APC track carrier like thing. Had a back door on it, and while we were in there, you know, riding around, they had all these Army guys in there, you know, they were doing their real training, and we got to ride with them. Just had a heck of a good time. They let us go to the great big Abrams tank. That thing is big. We got to crawl all inside of that tank. They wouldn't let us ride in it, but we got to crawl all in it, sit in the driver's seat, sit there where you shot at it, mash the button, you know, to shoot. Crawl on the outside of it, hang off on the gun, and just had a great time for little youngins, you know. Man, it was awesome. And then we went up to this great big tower, observation tower, and watched the tanks. These tanks would go out, and they were doing maneuvers, and then they would shoot and blow up a school bus or a Greyhound bus or whatever they had sitting out there downrange, and they'd blow that thing up, and then they'd come flying up these trails and jump over or jump on ramps and go through mud holes. They do all kind of stuff. And then at some point we got to go see them shoot a Tomahawk missile. I think that's what it was. It was the kind of missile that had a wire where after you shot it, it kind of spit out of this cannon, and then it like lit another rocket. Man, that thing took off. And it had a wire attached to it. It had a wire attached to it, and that's how they guided that thing. And he guided that down there and hit a school bus or something or other, you know, and blowed it up. I mean, that was a real deal. He blowed that thing up. And I don't remember what order we did all this stuff in. And sometime or another we went to the gas chamber. And we had to sit there with all these real National Guardsmen, and they were being instructed on how to go in this gas chamber and put on their mask, and they were telling them what to do and what not to do, and we were sitting there listening to them, and then all them guys had to go inside that gas chamber, and they let me and my cousin go in. We went in there with them. And it was awesome, man. It was really something. And we come out of that thing, and our eyes was watering, our nose was running. Man, it was nasty. Our nose ran from our nose down to our feet. We went to this one other little place, and they were shooting a 50 caliber machine gun. And man, you talking about a big gun, man. They wouldn't let us shoot that one. But they were shooting at targets going way up this hill. And it looked like it was a mile away, and they were hitting these targets. It was really something. That thing is loud, it shake the ground whenever it shoot off. But it was, you talking about a trip now, that was just like the best summer trip little teenage boys could go on, you know. And these, this unit, you know, they were out in the field at Fort Bragg, and so that night they had to camp out. They all pitched their tent. They all camped out in the woods out there. And, so they let us camp out there with them. So my uncle, he had an old Chevrolet pickup. It was a 77 GMC. And I don't know what you call them. It was a little Sierra, I guess. It was like a half-ton truck. And it had a camper shell on it. So he brought that out there. We all camped out in that truck bed, and so that morning, I don't know what time it was. It's probably about 4:30 in the morning, I guess. Oh, 4:30, I guess. However you say that. My uncle, he's over there kicking us, telling us to get up. You know, he was all into that Army act, you know, and we were too. He's over there and said, "Get up, boys, get up. Time to eat breakfast. We gotta go to the chow hall and eat breakfast." And I'm all about breakfast. So I jumped up, tying on my boots. And my cousin there, he don't get into breakfast, and he don't like to get up early too much. So he just laid in bed there in her sleeping bag. So I got up. My uncle, he was standing outside there. He looked sharp, you know, sharp as a lieutenant colonel can get. And you could see about I don't know, less than a half a mile, you know, maybe an eighth of a mile. I don't know how to describe it, but you could see down through the woods some real bright lights. He said, "That's where the chow is. We gotta walk down there," and it was pitch dark. Let me get another log on here. So anyway, that night we went camped out with all them guys, you know. That morning, my uncle, he had done been up, spit shined his boots, you know, got his hat on straight, got his sleeves rolled up. He was looking sharp. He started kicking and yelling and telling us to get up. And I'm all about a good breakfast. So I jumped up. And it was pitch black out there. I mean, it was a no moon night. I'm sure the Army picks the nights that's going to be the darkest for them. And you could see off in the distance there, and you could kind of hear some generators running, lights were shining, and you could see some commotion down there, a lot of people gathered around. That's where the mess hall was. It was you know, they were fixing breakfast out in the field. There wasn't no building or nothing. They were under a tent. And so he said, well, we gotta walk down there. That's where the breakfast is. I said, well, Uncle Buddy, I said, it sure is dark out here. I said, shouldn't we get a flashlight? He says, my God, boy, you're in the Army. You don't use a flashlight in the Army. You get shot at. I said, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. You would, that'd be kind of like giving up where you're at. He said, when you're in the Army, you got to turn on your night vision just like an owl. You start looking with your natural night vision just like an owl does. That you'll see stuff better without a flashlight. I was like, oh yeah, okay. I'm like, you know, my Uncle Buddy, he's so smart. No wonder he made a lieutenant colonel, you know. He's smart. So we go walking off down through there, and we're passing by, you know, a lot of these guys are getting up themselves, you know, they're in their little bitty tent. So they're waking up, and we walking past and going through their stuff, you know, kind of embarrassed. And we finally make it to the chow hall. Man, it smelled so good. I was starving to death. I think we had an MRE for supper, you know. I think that's all we had. So we got our tray, and my uncle, he was in front of me, and we got our trays, you know, and got our food on it. Let me put another log on here right quick. get there and we got our tray and we're in line, you know, we're going through there. And these old guys are serving you breakfast. And man, I tell you, when you're in the Army, you eat good. They had a big breakfast. Boys, they had French toast. They had eggs and bacon and gravy, biscuits. They had a big old spread. I was just piling it up. I starved to death, you know. My uncle there, he got a big old breakfast put on his plate. And so we got our food. We got our food there. And my uncle, he was right in front of me. I was right behind him there. Well, he turned, and all these enlisted guys, they're all standing around at their truck. They're all standing around eating their breakfast. And they're on the truck beds and Jeep hoods and, you know, whatever they could find. Something, they're sitting down in their lap, you know. And all of them are just showing a lot of respect to my uncle, you know. Good morning, sir. How you doing, sir? It's good to see you. And they're bragging on me and my cousin, you know, being out there and giving small talk. And so he turned around with his tray and started walking out from underneath that tent where all the food was, and his foot grabbed a hold of one of them tent wires and he did a Superman out through there. His tray went flying. He was level with the ground. And he's a big old man too. He's about 6 foot tall. He was a Supermaning out through there, and he just face planted right in front of all these guys. And they were just stuck. They had a fork halfway up their mouth, and their mouth was open, their eyes was wide, bug-eyed. And there went my uncle, man. He just crashed right in front of everybody. And I stand there with my mouth open like, oh my God. All them enlisted men, a bunch of sergeants and stuff, they go over and they grab him by the arms and pull him up and dusting him off and getting the grits out of his eyebrows, asking him if he's all right. He's pissed off, man. He's mad, embarrassed. I didn't say nothing in front of all them guys. I knew better. But after we got back to my cousin, got him woke up, I laid it in on Uncle Buddy about owl vision, man. I just tore him up. Experience, so I had so much fun that weekend. That was so nice of my uncle to do that. Risk know, what all you have to go through, I'm sure, of asking to get 2 boys to go with you, 2 teenage boys, to go out there and spend time with the unit, doing their training, and it was a really good time. He was a good uncle. He was my favorite uncle. I loved him to death. He suffered with leukemia for about the last 2 years of his life. Finally overtook it. He fought it long and hard as he could, but it finally got him, you know. That leukemia is bad stuff. So we, over the years, we'd be sitting around eating supper, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas supper. A lot of times we would be talking about stuff growing up, and that story, it would come out. And we had a good time talking about it. He would just laugh, and he enjoyed it too. He's a good man.